Good evening, everyone. A very warm welcome to Brewing Knowledge Friday sessions here at the English Book Depot. It's wonderful to see you all of you here for the art, literature, and culture. Every Friday, we talk about art, literature, and culture where we read, reflect, and make relationship. These sessions are meant to create a space where stories, ideas, and perspectives come together, allowing us to reflect not only on literature but also on our own experiences and identities. And today's sessions beautifully fits within that spirit. As we hear, we have the author of Never Been Single, Miss Priyansha, and her book explores the idea of self worth, how it shapes many different aspects of our lives, like relationship, experiences with success and failure, the way in which we understand ourselves. Through personal reflections and thoughtful insights, the book encourages readers to pause, look inward, and reconsider how they define their value and identity. So, today we will be exploring some of the ideas behind the book with her and her creative journey and the role that literature and reflection can play in our understanding ourselves better and people around us. Hello, Miss Priyansha. Would you like to talk about a little about your book first?
Hi, Sneha. Thank you for having me. So I essentially wrote this book for people who wanted to, work on themselves. And so like there always comes a point in life where we're having some kind of negative experience. It happens with everybody. So, and it's very difficult to heal yourself from that and then regain your self-confidence, regain your self-esteem, regain your self-worth. So I wanted to help people in some way, work on that healing journey for themselves. And and it was very difficult to do it one-on-one with so many people because I was at that time working as a relationship coach, which I did for like 10, 12 years. And then I wrote this book in the hope of that people will be able to read it and fix their issues with themselves. And of course, like if you have a good relationship with yourself, it has a domino effect on all your other relationships and all the other areas of your life. So I wrote this book generally so that it can make a difference to people's lives.
Okay, I read your book and it's wonderful. It made me introspect. So, throughout your book, you connect self worth with many parts of life, like relationships, success, and failures. So, could you talk about how self worth acts as a foundation that shapes the way we experiences all these things?
So, see, like again, I said, when you have a negative experience in one area of your life, maybe love life, maybe your career, maybe your job, maybe you're not a good student, right? You always start feeling like that I can't achieve this, I can't achieve that. You start feeling less. And that inner comparison, the feeling of inner comparison takes over, which actually hinders you from achieving what you're actually meant to achieve in your life. So, self-worth is very, very important to achieve your dreams and goals and ambitions and to find your purpose in life. It plays a very important role in how your life shapes up in that way. Like when your self-worth is 100, you can go after anything. It doesn't take much. But if your self-worth is low, then you will think 100 times. You'll not be able to take action in that area. So that's how it affects. So that's what the book says, that the blurb of the book says that it's for achieving your goals and dreams, essentially.
Yeah, it's interesting that how self worth influences so many aspects of our lives, especially when we begin to think about how it shows up in our relationship. And your book talks a lot about self worth beyond relationships. But the title, Never Been Single, suggests a life mostly spent in relationships. So, how can someone build a strong sense of individuality and self worth while still being in a relationship?
So the book is not against relationships. But what happens essentially is that relationships cover some parts of our lives. Like I've written in the book that it's easy to be miserable when you're with somebody, and it's very difficult to be miserable alone. So I've just suggested in this book that maybe you can take some time alone for yourself, and that can happen even when you're in a relationship, right? You can emotionally take some time for yourself to totally understand that what is it that is making you not, achieve or go after what you want. So I had to become like single for the longest time to, introspect. But you essentially don't have to become single. But maybe just single in thought would also help you. Because when you don't have that kind of a cover, which is covering all your problems, then you introspect more, you think about things more. So I'm only encouraging you to look inside
Mm-hmm.
and find out that what is stopping it
Yeah, and it
and to
also
heal those parts essentially of your life.
Mm. And it also connects to how differently people experience success and failure. I'm talking about the self-worth. Like it connects you to the different aspects of life. And you talk about how success and failure are experienced differently by each person. So, how can someone build a sense of self-worth that isn't dependent on how others define success or failure of themselves?
So that there's a chapter about it, which is essentially say self-worth and success types.
Mhm.
So it's not necessary that your success will always come from one area only.
Yeah.
It can come from any area. For example, so you have to again like define it for yourself. I feel that we have a very generic term of success that, oh, if you're successful in your career, or you're earning this much, or if you have a husband, if you have a child, what if I don't want any of it, right?
Mhm.
What if it's not making me happy? So we don't do that exercise. So first, so again, it again comes back to understanding yourself. The what is it that will make you feel happy, and what is it that'll make you feel successful?
Mhm.
Like for somebody, success, like I read some time back somewhere that people who are doing really well in life, what is the sign of that? So the sign of that is, it's a joke that they go to the gym at 10 to 11 a.m., right? So that essentially means that they don't have to go to office. So they can just go to the gym at any time that they want. So maybe that's success for them. Or maybe success for you is waking up late in life. I don't know. Like whatever makes you happy, whatever makes you feel successful. For some people, it can be, a very high package and a very high corporation. But it's not the same for everybody,
Okay, yeah.
right? Like some people wants to work in NGOs, so are they not successful,
Yeah.
right? It's their calling and they like doing service. So they are still successful people. And
Mhm.
again, success is also about many, many things in life. For example, if you're very successful, you have a lot of money, a lot of wealth, but you're alone in your life. So are you successful?
Mhm.
Again, you have to ask yourself, right?
Yeah.
That
Mhm.
what success is for you, and you define it, and then you build that.
Yeah, but in today's world, especially with the presence of social media, we always look out for external validation, and external validation can often shape how people measure themselves, right? So, in today's culture, especially with social media, self worth often gets tied to validation from others, and we think of our success accordingly. So, how can someone protect their sense of identity in such an environment?
So your sense of identity is actually the most linked to your life purpose. So if you found that, then it generally detaches from everything. And see, social media, I agree. Like there was always this inherent competition with each other, even in the olden times. I'm sure this must be there. But now, because it's so easy to know what other people are doing, right? For example, if you are having a bad day and you just look online and somebody's gone on an amazing trip, so that inherent comparison just happens very quickly right now. So you feel that, oh my God, that other person is doing so much better and having so much fun while my life sucks. And I'm having such a bad day and I'm not doing well. And then you again go into that zone, very quickly. It's because so we cannot make the social media the evil person here, because actually it's just triggering your inner comparison again,
Hmm.
right? So if you are happy and if you feel you're successful, then it shouldn't affect you, right? Like
Yeah,
what the other person is doing.
but it's
So
mainly because of the external validation we need, and it has to do something with self-worth only, as you told us. And but alongside these ideas about identity and self-worth, like as you talked about creativity and your expression, like with your creative outlets, it also seems like it plays an important role in understanding ourselves. So you have spoken about exploring different creative outlets in your journey. So how did those creative pursuits help you understand yourself better and shape the ideas you express in your writing?
So see, any creative activity that you do, any creative force, like be it painting, be it writing. For example, whenever people come to me, a lot of people come and ask me that, how do I heal myself and tell me something, teach me healing, teach me how to meditate. So I tell them this that see, for someone, someone needs to sit and meditate. Like I'm a person who would like to sit and meditate, but maybe it'll not work for you because you're a more active person. So maybe for you, running is meditation. Maybe for you, going out is like meditation. For someone, art is healing. For someone, writing is healing. So you have to find a healing medium for yourself. But yes, creation in general, and when you create something, it brings you a kind of joy, right? And it also is a very healing tool. So you again have to find your own healing medium.
Okay. And creativity and writing often involve like a lot of emotional reflection as well. Yeah, I also do journaling, so I kind of know about it. But like, do you think literature and art have the power to heal people emotionally?
Yes, yes, definitely. So, for example, like this book called Anne Frank's Diary, it's written in that era. So, what was the idea behind that book? To get through that difficult phase, right? Like there are so many people who are when going through difficult phase, so they always say that books are my best friend. Why do they say that?
Mm-hmm.
Because they do help you in many, many ways, right? Like people who are sick, people, who are alone. And there are so many people whose lives have changed. Like I have read books who've completely changed my outlook on life and changed my life. I, in fact, did a series on my YouTube, like the books that changed my life because of that.
Okay.
Because, some books will come to you at some point in your life and they are meant to come, I feel. Because I feel books are also like energy
Mm-hmm.
and then they change your life. So,
Like your
definitely.
book did to me. Like I swear, I was reading this and it like literally made me sit with my thoughts and introspect. So yeah, and also like writing this book feels like a form of healing for you. So writing something that invites readers to introspect can also be very personal process for the for the writer and for the readers as well, and it creates and it brings a lot of vulnerability inside from inside. So, since this book encourages a lot of introspection and self reflection, what was the most vulnerable or difficult part for you while writing it?
So, see, in this book, I've owned up to a lot of things, that I've realized about myself. And it's so when I was writing this book, I wasn't sure that how are people going to take it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have been vulnerable in this book about many, many things. Like, for example, the last chapter of my book took a lot of time to write because I had to admit that, during so many years of my life, I wanted a member of the opposite sex to love me, and then only I love myself. It's a difficult thing to admit to so many people. Like, now, maybe like more than 1,000 people must have read my book already. So they know this about me, right? And then you also have to overcome the, feeling or the fear that, oh my God, what if, you know, what should I like? You cannot write for the likability of other people, actually, because that will not make you a good writer. Like you have to write something which is honest and raw and vulnerable so that, it actually can have an impact. Because if you keep thinking about what other people will think or how it will be perceived, then you actually cannot write anything that's impactful or good. That's my philosophy. And see, every writer has a different process, and so I can't say it for others. But for me, I would not shy away from writing such things
Mm-hmm.
because, and also to understand my own faults and my own shortcomings, and then writing them and sharing them with the whole world. So yeah, it's a
Now,
difficult
yeah,
process.
My question would be like that, suppose, as you mentioned, a lot of, negative things happen in your life and the circumstances went too wrong for you to digest. And that hit on your self-worth. That is like something that I agree. But in the process of, getting back to life and heal yourself properly, it is very challenging to get that self-worth back. Even if how hard you try and there are people around you who are supporting you, but somehow it is very difficult to how to cope up with that, like with your experiences or something that you mentioned in your book. Like what would you suggest to a person who is, facing a lot of difficulties in getting that self-worth back?
So, see, first of all, you have to be kind to yourself and understand that everybody has these phases. So, when you read my book, I've also written about what all I faced, and I've been honest about it because, see, it's true because I've been a counselor for a very long time. So, it happens to everybody in one way or another. And I don't know your problem area, but like some people have health issues, some people have relationship issues, some people are not doing well in their careers. And in human life, there also is a lot of sacrifice at one point or another, right? Where you have to make choices, which can also impact the flow of your life. For example, if you want to take care of a ailing parent, then you have to let go of your career. And then you'll look at other people after some years and you feel that, oh my God, they are ahead of me. So all this. But I guarantee you, where I've written the book with this energy, this book is actually equivalent to 5 healing sessions, very solid 5 healing sessions. So if you read it, it will actually heal your self-worth in a very big way.
Yeah.
But if it's taking you time, just be kind to yourself. I don't know how catastrophic it is, but you know, sometimes it takes time. So just give yourself that time and do self-loving activities during that time.
Okay, okay, ma'am. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you very
All
much.
right.
Also, you can get your copies from the English Book Depot, Dehradun. Yeah. Anyone else who have any question or reflection? Okay. I don't think so. Hmm. So, yeah, I think there's no one. So I would like to ask you, Priyansha, do you think contemporary literature has a role in shaping how people think about identity, relationships, and self-worth today?
Yeah, I feel because there is a lot of change, right, in the society right now with the like the like masculine, feminine energies, and like in every area of life. So generally, what happens is that whenever you know there is a lot of change in the society, it's very difficult to outrightly discuss it, right? I like there are some things that you can't just outrightly say to people, and that's why art has always and literature has always been a medium of change also. Like you have the Renaissance era. So when things change, so literature and art also changes and it reflects that change. And for example, if I say something outrightly to you,
Yeah, yeah.
you might react very differently than when you read it in a book.
Mhm.
Because when you read it somewhere, you have time to respond to it. You understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So it helps in that way. Like it helps bring about that change in an easy manner. Because if I write something, people have time to read it and understand it and, apply that change. But generally, in terms of conversation, if we do it, then there's a chance of reaction. That's what I feel.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing your insights. And as people, I don't think so. They have questions or reflections. Yeah. So, yeah, thank you so much for sharing your insights today with us. And thank you everyone for being a part of Brewing Knowledge Friday session. And thank you so much for joining us, Priyansha.
Thank
And
you.
yeah, thank you for sharing your ideas, reflections, and experiences with us. And these conversations remind us that how to, uh, why it's very important to sit with yourself and introspect and look inside first. And yeah, I hope today's session leaves people with something meaningful to take away. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Sneha, and your time.
Yeah, thank you,
Okay.
everyone. Yeah,
Bye
thank you.
bye.